happen and help benefit the people who want to be like white. Um, what happened is that what happened just before the 50s, we mentioned certain countries that became independent, but we left out the fact that Israel, basically a white settler colony, was made a nation by the United Nations in 1948. And they drove a lot of people off of their land and they used their influence because they were white, got the English and the Americans, the French and other people to empower Jews who'd been abused in Europe. I'm not trying to say Jews didn't get gassed or mistreated, but to me, to take land from Arabs when you should have taken it from the white people that gassed and stolen, to me is the more honest thing than to take someone else. That's like giving the illegal shit that black people are owed. I mean, make them fix shit in Mexico, fix shit in Costa Rica, fix shit in El Salvador and Guatemala. Why the fuck take it out of our asses here? But that's what happened to the Palestinians, and a lot of the Palestinians are black. And I'm not picking sides. I told y'all, I'm a black matzo ball. I'm part Jewish. I'm part Mizrahi and Sephardic. And I'm even fake Jew. I'm Ashkenazi as well. I mean, shit, I just got to be honest about this. But I don't support people getting screwed over. I don't want Jews screwed over. I don't want anybody fucked, especially not black people. I'm fair. I don't want white people in Ireland fucked over. I don't like it. I don't like anybody getting screwed, but I have to start with us first. Does that sound fair to you, Brother Q? So I don't want anybody to hurt anybody else. I believe love neighbor as self. But damn it, me being a believer doesn't mean you get to fuck me because I believe in Jesus. Okay, I believe in the same Jesus as Nat Turner, except I wouldn't kill kids. Anyway, moving right along. So you've got this Israel, and there are all these fights, right? And the Israelis basically, they kicked the Arabs' ass in 1948. And they kicked the English ass and basically make the English run out of there with their tails between their legs. And they beat the Arabs' ass in 1948 and 1949. They beat everybody's ass in the 50s. Oh, and then Nasser, who took control of the Suez Canal, basically, like, since white people are making all this money off the Suez Canal, which was a key strategic link between England and its colonies and its ex-colonies and all in Asia and Africa, right? All that comes through the Suez Canal, to which the Egyptians lost over 100,000 lives and got practically no money off of this major money-generating place. They didn't get anything off of it. And Egypt's desperately poor. And all this money goes to the people that used them, that ripped them off. In fact, the English and the French tricked the Egyptians to agree to this canal, then got that country indebted and used the fact that they got lied to, the debt, to say, you know what? You guys owe us money and you can't pay us back. Well, fuck it. We're going to rule your country and take everything from you because y'all fucked up, even though we lied to you. That's how white people in subprime loans. Same shit. Trust us, psych. Fuck you. Everything is yours. Everything that's yours is mine because you trusted us and we fucked you. See? And we've been doing this for like 600 years. And I don't hate anybody. I'm just saying this is what they did. So the Egyptians say, shit, y'all call us poor and black and stupid and we're worthless, but you're making all this money in our neighborhood and we can't have any of it. We paid for it. You lied to us about the price. You fucked us for it. You make all the money off of it and we lose money and you get richer every year off of us and we died for this shit. Sounds like us in all of America's wars. Black folks, are you listening? So NASA says, hey, look, I know I'm light skinned and shit, but I'm still Egyptian. I'm still kind of black. I want my shit for my people. So Nasser took the Suez Canal and says, we're going to get paid off of shit in our country from here on out. And the English and the French and these white Jews, and white Jews always trying to get justification to be down there and violating all their treaties and agreements of how the stuff is supposed to be split up between them and the Palestinians. Notice how they keep building settlements and shit and takes the stuff, bulldozing people's houses and shit, saying in the name of God, I got to take your fucking house and beat your ass because somebody in my family lived here 3,000 years ago, so fuck you. So what, you have a title deed. I got God. And if you don't believe in that, well, shit, I got a gun. Just research it for yourself. I'm not picking. They just come and take people's shit, cut people's trees down, rape folks, and move in tax free. In fact, you as an American taxpayer pay for white folks from Brooklyn or Williamsburg to go and take someone Palestinian shit from them in the name of God, and yet that Jewish persons and atheists tell you there's no such thing as God. So how can you say God gave you land if you don't believe in the damn God? At least be consistent. Anyway, so this Israel does this shit, right? Israel's fucking over people and they're fighting, right? And they have a fight with Lebanon, and they have a fight with Jordan, they have a fight with Syria, they have a fight with Israel. They undermine each other. I'm sorry, Egypt. And they're all fighting each other and deporting people and creating problems and blowing up shit, making folks mad. So people are pissed with Israel, right? To the point where the Egyptians and other people working with ex-Nazis trying to bring Israel down. All that to say, in 1956, when they took that canal over to benefit for themselves, the English, the Israelis, and the French all agreed to fuck up Nasser, and they invaded. They invaded Egypt in 56, I'm sorry. And it was all going well for them. They took everything, were mass killing people in places like Port Said and so forth. And the United States, which says, hey, look, we're the head of whiteys on the planet. You didn't get our permission to beat up the sand niggers in Egypt, so you've got to take your toys and go the fuck home. And as a result, even though the Egyptian armies were not capable of beating the British, Italians, and French, they won a diplomatic international victory, which basically signaled the end of the French and British empires, and at the same time showed Arab nations that the Israelis would almost operate as a white settler colony military base used against them in their own lands. There was already an issue that they're Jews and Islam and so forth, right? That shit's already off the charts. So you've got this Israel there, and what happens? The Israelis, of course, beat them in the 40s. They kicked their asses in like 1950, 54. They attack and they win, but they get pushed out by the Americans in 56, right? And then what happens? You have the war in 1967, right? And the Israelis completely fuck up the Egyptians, destroy the Air Force on the ground and shit. And they take all the Sinai Peninsula and they just kick the Egyptians in the ass, right? They just stomp them. And they beat up everybody else too. And they grab more shit and they take one of the holy sites in Islam, which is Al-Quds. You call it Jerusalem. Come on, all of us Bible believers we're basically McDonald's and Muslims are Burger King. We sell more burgers than you, so our God has to be greater, right? Yeah, that's what I think. My God's right, their God is wrong. Anyway, keep moving. So you've got this anger in the Middle East against Israel. And of course, they lose in 67. And then the Russians basically, which the Russians actually got the Egyptians to go to war with the Israelis in 67. They lied to them. And see, white folks pimp you. Even if they're commies or capitalists, they're still white. Keep watching. Whether they're Democrat or Republican, you're still black. You got to look out for yourself. Not saying that you can't cut a deal with people, but all relationships are temporary. It's sort of like a prostitute. You know, if you pay another $20, you may get the blowjob. But if you don't, you may only be able to ask for one thing, and that's only temporary. So think of everything as a prostitutional transaction. When you stop paying, it's off. All right. Now, moving right along. Libya becomes an ally under the new officers that take over in the late 60s that admire Nasser. At the same time, they don't like Nasser they don't like Sadat, who replaces Nasser. So Libya begins to make money from oil, and Gaddafi and them are radical Arab socialists. They support the Palestinians. They support all sorts of liberation movements, blah, 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 right? Now, we have another situation. You have the Yom Kippur War, where Egypt attacks the Israelis during their holy holiday of Yom Kippur. And they're beating the shit out of the Israelis. They're really kicking their asses. And that means Syria and all of them jump in and start fighting Israel, they're attacking, beating their ass. And what happens is the United States, whose Secretary of State is a Jewish man you've heard of, whose name is Henry Kissinger, the United States lies and says that they're not giving arms and shit to the Israelis when they're giving arms to the Israelis. Advanced shit like certain anti-tank missiles, because the main military weapons that the Egyptians and the Syrians have are their Russian-made tanks, the T-56, the T-72, the T-68. Their tanks are what they're using. And the Israelis didn't have as many tanks, but with the American anti-tank missiles, they fucked the Egyptians up. And of course, their superior tanks fuck up the Syrians. And the whole Arab world, when they recognize, wait a minute, the whiteys lied to us. You know, Arabs think white people love them, and they hate black people who love Arabs. I don't know what the hell is going on. They're sort of like black women. They want everybody but those that want them. You can't have me because you want to respect me and give me a home and treat me like a queen. I want a person that will come in my face and slap me and call me bitch. You're not man enough to control me. Okay. And the Arabs sort of like sisters, modern sisters. Yes, y'all like that. They like bad boys. Arabs like bad treatment from white people. They always run after white people for love, and nobody black is good enough. And of course, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. All y'all Muslims, yes, y'all run after the camel jockeys, and y'all hate your black Christian brothers and sisters. We not good enough. Well, I came up with y'all. Y'all food isn't good, and y'all dance too much. Anyway, moving right along. So the whole Arab world is mad as shit. The way that America lied to them, that they picked sides, they weren't fair. And so what do? You get